Welcome everyone to Friday Night Bulldogs. It is 6:45, and as promised, we've got pregame starting. We're here in Ft.Gibson, Oklahoma, where the Tigers will host the Wagoner Bulldogs in the first game of the district. Bulldogs come in at 3-0, and also the Tigers come in at 3-0, and this being the first district game for both teams. And we appreciate everyone that is logged on already as we are getting ready to see the opening ceremonies. Right now, I believe this is a thing that Fort Gibson does in a prayer circle. Whoever wants to join there, and that happened right there at center field, and that's what you were, or midfield, and that's what you were looking at. And the national anthem will be coming shortly from the Pride of the Tiger Marching Band. Again, you're watching Friday Night Bulldogs. It's Garrett Haddock behind the camera and the computer. I'm Jeremy Holmes, and I am joined alongside a very special guest host, and we've been trying to get him up here for about 5 years now since he left the coaching world. But he feels like he's probably, and I don't know, we've been talking quite a bit here lately. He's putting that he's far enough removed from the coaching sideline, but I'm here next to Nick Humphreys, Assistant Superintendent here at Wagoner Public Schools, and he is no stranger to football. He's no stranger to Wagoner. And Nick, I know you've been kind of practicing at home to make sure that you're not being a Tony Romo up here.
That's exactly right. I tell you, I'm hoping that my old football coach don't come out tonight and I give the people actually what they're wanting to hear.
Yeah. So we appreciate everyone that's logged on, and we want to thank. I'll probably call him a couple of 3 or 4 different terms by the time we're done. We'll call him Mr. Humphreys. We might call him Nick. We might call him Coach. All three of those. Randy might slip out before the end of the night.
Hey, as a coach, I've been called way worse, Jeremy. I can promise you that.
For sure. So we hope picture is great, sound is very low. Okay, we'll see if we can make a few adjustments for that. And sounds looks like the picture is great, and hopefully we're able to adjust the sound here. As the pride of the Tiger Nation takes the field for the national anthem, and we will allow you to listen to that as soon as they begin, as some of the pregame announcements are still going on here at Tiger Stadium. Let us know if the sound is a little better now. Hopefully we're able to turn that up. And we're looking forward to some great football tonight. And Nick, the Fort Gibson Tigers are coming in relatively young, I guess, with a lot of sophomores, but a very talented sophomore group, from what I understand, coming out of the Tiger Nation.
Yes, sir. They have a really talented sophomore group. They've everybody around here junior high wise has known them for a while.
Okay.
They've been pretty much winning every sport with that group for a while, and they are talented. They being down there on the field in pregame, you could tell the difference between our seniors and their sophomores in sheer size.
Mm-hmm.
But they are a talented group. I'm sure it's an exciting time for them to get out here and play a team such as us.
And of that sophomore group, one of them being the starting quarterback, who also started as a freshman last year.
Correct. Yeah, Logan Bethel. Logan Bethel is he's a coach's kid. His dad coaches for him over there. They came from the Sallisaw area previously, and he's a very talented kid. Uh, Definitely listening to Coach Nolan throughout the week, he pretty much said it's like having a coach on the field even as a young player.
Okay.
That he can really grasp a lot of what he's throwing at him, and that doesn't surprise me. He is a talented kid.
All right. We're looking forward to the battle of the dogs and cats as the Fort Gibson band takes the field for the national anthem. All right. We hope you're able to hear the national anthem there, and hopefully everything is going well for you at home. The scoreboard said about 8.5 minutes away from kickoff, so you have time to get your favorite snack, your favorite drink, and get back in the recliner or wherever you may be. Nick, I know you're obviously no stranger to Wagner football, but maybe a little bit new to all of this streaming and computer stuff and all that. But I know I've talked about it with you more than enough times, but literally Wagner Bulldog football all over the world.
That's the neat thing about what we're able to provide through this, and I know you guys have done a fantastic job with this. I'm thankful you're letting me come along tonight and share a little bit with them as the evening goes on. But it is pretty cool to see that how connected we really are across really all over the world. We can't just say over the United States.
Yes, exactly. And I know that some of these names will ring a bell throughout the night as we have a chat room here. Chris Cravat, I know he's a former Bulldog from back in the day,
Yes, sir.
logging on tonight. Neil King is saying, "Let's go, Dogs." And that is actually, I'm going to say it kind of quietly because Garrett's right next to us, but that may be Garrett's future father in law.
Yeah, I hate to break that to Neil, but it's probably happening. Nah, Garrett's a great kid, and I'm sure Neil feels the same way.
So the spirit line for the Tigers out on the field as the captains come for the opening toss. It's number 4, Kel Charbonneau. Number 21 is Tayshawn Williams. Number 12, Alex Shieldknight. And number 56, Hayden Von Holt.
Well, and before we get going here, I'd like to, you mentioned Kel Charbonneau there. I'd like to give a shout out to Miss Hetty Charbonneau, the head of that family, for sure. I sure wonder sometimes how sweet of a lady she is. What happened to Nico? But you know, anyway, today is her birthday, and so we'd like to wish her a happy birthday.
Absolutely. Happy birthday, Miss Hetty. Hetty and Jerry Charbonneau. That is their grandson, number 4, Cale Charbonneau. And their son, Miko Charbonneau, is on the sidelines. And they also have Chris, who is a Bulldog himself, Chris Charbonneau. And then Amy, who is my classmate from back in the day. And Charbonneau has been part of Wagner Bulldog football for quite some time.
Yes, yes, very much a well-known family, especially in the wrestling world, but the football world as well, of course. And today is also our superintendent's
Yeah. Yep.
birthday, Mr. Randy Harris.
Yep.
He's having a birthday today. Happy birthday, Mr. Harris.
So September 27th, apparently a popular day. On that note, I will want to wish my oldest brother, Glenn Holmes, a happy, I think it's 54 for him. I think it'll be 54 for him.
Round down, Jim. Round down. That's everybody likes that.
He is an original member of the FNB crew from back in Nick. Sometimes we forget how long we've been doing this. 2009 was the first year that we did Friday Night Bulldogs.
Wow. Yeah, I remember that year for sure. Well, and I was making the comment earlier. I use the term kids all the time with these grown adults
Yeah.
walking around us, like the workforce now, and are giving back to their community and helping in our school system. And I use the term kid all the time. They're not kids anymore for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, that's true. That is true. So, Gene Hunt watching from Kansas City, Missouri tonight. Gene, about a 91 grad. Appreciate him logging on. Susan Tatum, Lisa Tyree, Cassie Collins. There's speaking of Cassie, the softball girl, and that softball team continuing that tradition and moving ahead into the regional playoffs coming up this week.
Yeah, I think the next 2 to 3 weeks are going to be a really exciting time for our softball program. I know everybody's excited, and the crowds and the way the community's got behind that team, I think, speaks volumes. So, yeah, I think between regionals and super regionals, and then hopefully state tournament during fall break, we'll have a good stretch here where the softball program can kind of get Wagner's name out there in that deal. And I don't think it's going away anytime soon.
No, I don't think so either. They're going to be playing Jay and Cleveland either Wednesday or Thursday of this following week, and Friday Night Bulldogs plans to bring the action to all the softball fans. So uh, you may have to do a little bit of adjustment at home on the volume. I see some comments about the volume maybe being too low, but you may have to do that on your side as some are making say that they are hearing everything just fine. And we're still about 3 minutes away from kickoff. It looks like Fort Gibson is just now walking onto the field. And Wagner is still in the locker room. So we're almost at 100 different devices, as we say, 100 different homes right now, Nick, that are watching Friday Night Bulldogs or getting ready to watch. So Gene, make sure you don't have anything muted on your laptop at home, or even if you got it on the big screen TV. That's another thing, Nick. We talked about it being worldwide, but people send us pictures all the time. They're sitting in their living room on the couch with the up on the big screen TV, and it looks like now I know the first couple of weeks we had some trouble, but we were able to find the part that was not working right, and by second quarter of last week we were back to what the Friday Night Bulldog fans at home were used to.
Yes, yes. Well, looks like Fort Gibson's taking the field right now.
I'll say hello to Stacy and Jeff watching from Rocky Point, America tonight.
Okay, okay.
Says they've got it up on their 60-inch, I guess, flat screen. So how about, let's see, we'll catch up a little bit on our chat room. Astro, I remember this. It's Isaacs or something like that. Anyway, that's your mama.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Kale created the account for it.
Um,
So you're probably going to hear that nice and loud as somebody got like a little bit of a train horn going on here. So I'm sure that your volume at home, and we may have to close the window a little bit because I have a feeling, as far as Wagner Bulldogs fans are concerned, they're probably going to be hearing that train horn a lot tonight.
yes, yes. I am. I'm very excited to be back in Fort Worth, and I'm glad to know that they allow our Wagner buses to travel over here in the fall for activities. It's been a few years since we got to come over here, so I mean that all with fun, but it's nice to get to play them again.
Yep. Yep. So she is watching from Allen, Texas. So hello, Anita. Hope everything, Miss Anita, going well for you down in Allen, Texas. And I hope it's not because you're shopping down there in all those outlet malls.
Well,
So
she's on retirement time right now. She doesn't even know what day of week it is. So, uh,
Chris Lancaster and Becky Coates watching from Wagner. Saying good luck, Bulldogs. Dwayne Rife or Rift, maybe Rift. I remember last week talking about still above water and watching from Naples, Florida. So
okay.
Hurricane, I can't remember the name now. As we get kickoff here is Rhett Butler and a high short kick, fielded at about the 23.
Great coverage.
Oh, able to
Let him
slip.
slick out just a little, but
Yeah,
still good start.
had it covered there, Nick, for thought they're going to drop him right there, and somehow he's able to sidestep and about a 5 yard return there.
Yes, yes. Well, the first thing you're going to see out here tonight is a big advantage we should have tonight is on the defensive line. We have that most weeks, but this week especially with their young offensive line and our senior laden defensive line, it should be pretty tough.
Quarterback tonight from the shotgun, number 12, looking downfield out in the flat, but he throws that one away. And Nick, you were just talking about that defensive line. I think that was Vaughn Holt that was in his face.
Yes, yes. I think that's going to be a hard thing for Fort Gibson tonight. They, like I said, they got good young players, but boy, I tell you what, our defensive line is pretty stout.
2nd and 10 now for the Tigers from their own 32. It's Logan Bethel, the quarterback tonight for the Tigers.
They got number 2 stacked up top up there on the short side of the field. As quick as they're going to have to release the football, I wouldn't be surprised to see him touch the ball early a couple times.
Might be seeing a lot of hot reads tonight, and here's one
They go
right
the
here.
other way. Yep, go the other way. Wrap up. Good job.
Is that Goodland out there on the stop for the Bulldogs? It was kind of an isolated one-on-one there, and then picked up the other blocker to springing for the other yards.
Yeah, I think most people against our defensive line, you're going to see a lot of screens, quick passes, bringing guys in. They're condensing down the formation a little bit here, but we'll see.
Bethel looking downfield, and that looked like it was maybe tipped at the line or at least hit his arm. Was that McFarland or
Yep,
Shield Knight?
yep, McFarland.
Okay.
And again, pressure. He didn't have time to wait for that deep comeback route right there. So again, it should be a quick 3-and-out.
And the Tigers will drop back. They're standing at the 25 as the punter awaits, and he will kick it to number 2, to Caden Ford, standing at about his 32. That's a
Ooh,
low
punt.
line drive, might have even been tipped.
Yeah.
And fortunately for the Tigers, it does take a good bounce for them, and that ball will roll dead at the 31-yard line. Nick, the last couple of weeks, especially week 2, the Bulldog special teams have created a lot of turnovers and a lot of great field position and even some points.
Yeah, that's always that's one of the least talked about things in a game, but boy, it sure makes a big difference. And when you're good on special teams, gives you short field,
Mm-hmm.
flips the field on people, it makes a big difference.
Bulldogs start out with no one in the backfield, and that is Shield Knight in motion. Charbonneau from the shotgun wheels it over to Matson Swanson, makes one tackler miss. And as we've seen pretty much since Swanson has stepped on the field, he is very elusive in the open field.
Yes, yes, that's a great design right off the bat, right there to get him the ball in the open field and with the lead blocker. So,
That's going to be a pickup of 14 to the 45. Bulldogs with the ball. And the Charbonneau looking to pass again. Downfield, got a man wide open, just overshoots him. That's for 26, Anthony Coleman, and he had all kinds of room in front.
well designed again, but just got it a little high there, but he'll get it down in there here in a minute.
Want to say hello to Rocky Mitchell, Rick Moore, Rick and Donna watching from Wagoner, Mary Kay Boren logging on, Tracy Smith watching from Indianapolis. So welcome, Tracy. And this is Goodland on the jet sweep, and he's got plenty of yardage, and he's going to get to the 35 of the Tigers. We talked about Swanson already in the open field. He's also a very good blocker downfield.
Yes, yes, and our depth at receiver is really good this year. I've been very impressed with all our athletes that we have on the outside, and it appears that that's another advantage we may have tonight.
1st and 10 for the Bulldogs from the Tiger 38. Here's a backside screen. Swanson makes a good grab, able to split some defenders, and then number 22 able to make the stop. 22 is Vincent Biggs for the Tigers. But really, Nick, all of the receivers, you talk about the depth, every one of them, anytime the other one catches it, they are downfield making blocks, and a lot of times bringing them either for big yardage or even touchdowns.
Well, when you decide to go,
That's
there's Alex
Shield Knight.
Knight right down the middle.
Yep. Big target for Charbonneau as he finds Shield Knight inside what we call the red zone. Looks like it's going to be looks like they're standing at about the 16-yard line.
Do we have a flag?
We do. We'll wait for the call. Bulldogs seem to think it's going against them.
Mm-hmm.
Illegal man downfield. Okay. So
now, you'll run into that with some of the RPO stuff that teams are doing, and I know that's almost a cursing term to OU fans right now. Not really loving that RPO system. It is a very popular scheme being run right now throughout the country for sure.
So the 5 yards that Swanson was able to pick up on first down now becomes a 2nd and 10 after the 5-yard penalty. Tigers at the Tiger 39-yard line. Charbonneau wheels it over to Shield Knight. Shield Knight cut down as he crosses the 35, but that big 6'4" frame that he has is going to dive ahead Nick, looks like for about a 7-yard gain.
Yeah, that little sophomore corner out there was like, okay, this is going to be fun when he was coming downhill right there. He did a good job of getting him to the ground, though.
3rd and a long 3 for the Bulldogs.
Little
And here
counter.
is Tayshawn Williams, and that's number 50.
Yep, number 50.
Number 50 for the Tigers. That is Zach Cushman.
Another
Makes a great
sophomore.
play.
Another sophomore. Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to hear that a lot on the Ft.Gibson side tonight. So it's 4th and short right here. Definitely. I mean, I can tell you all the years coaching with Coach Condit, we're going.
Yeah. It's on the 31-yard line, a 4th and 2, and it's Charbonneau calls his number,
Good
and he's got
save.
first down. Now he breaks it to downtown, and he's going to go
touchdown.
for the touchdown. Number 4, Kale Charbonneau, at a 4th and 2 becomes a touchdown from 31 yards away.
Yeah, that's when you got a quarterback as stout as ours is, when I say this, as the season progresses, part of it keeping him healthy. They could probably run that play 8 plays ago, and it would have done something similar. But
Right.
you're kind of working through the whole process of the season, and so when you have a play where all the chips are down, that's a pretty easy call to make right there to put the ball in that guy's hands.
So this is Zevlin Belongong on the extra point, number 99. He and Rhett Butler are switched back and forth between kickoff and extra points. So this is Belongong. High snap, but able to bring it down, and that is through for the extra point. With 8:49 left in the first quarter, Wagoner Bulldogs 7, Ft.Gibson Tigers 0.
Yeah, that's a good start right there. Good start. Got the ball into a lot of different people's hands. We're able to kind of get everybody involved. So that was it's a good start. Good start.
I believe that was a 68, 69-yard touchdown drive, maybe 6 plays for the score. And Vicky Hemphill, Sherry Henderson, Cobinator 04, the young family watching from Whitehorn Cove. So it's Rocky Point, it's Whitehorn Cove, it's all over Wagoner
There
for
we
sure.
go. Yep.
And I did see your mom did respond. Both of us are right. She had been shopping, and she doesn't know what day it is.
Yeah, I was fully aware of that.
Kevin Orange, appreciate you logging on. Bernie Clegg, watching from Lubbock.
Okay. I've been to Lubbock a few times.
So here is
go a little deeper with this kick right here. There's number 2, one of their best playmakers.
Yep, into the end zone for the automatic touchback. For those that aren't aware, Nick, in high school football, if the ball goes into the end zone, automatic touchback.
Yep. They don't even get a choice. So it's a big weapon. If you got a kicker to put in the end zone every time, I mean, you can pretty much eliminate that from the other team.
So Belong able to get the touchback, and then Butler, as we've seen the last couple of weeks, been able to find a really soft spot, and many times the Bulldogs have recovered what you can't call it an onside kick. You just
it's a little pooch kick.
Pooch kick.
And
there you go.
Was it 2 weeks ago? We
Mhm.
got felt like we got 2 or 3
Yep.
at least. I couldn't remember.
For sure.
Here comes a lot of pressure, and Bryce Steele got a hold of him pretty quick.
Looks like Shield Knight's in there as well, and number 54 for the Bulldogs. Number 54, Anthony Harris, sophomore. And as many of those sophomores are getting a lot of reps, and they're, you know, we're just deep in a lot of positions.
Yeah, that's our depth on the defensive line is pretty impressive. I mean, we obviously have 2 that are extremely good, but the depth of solid players on there is very impressive. There's part of your screen game that it's going to come with that defensive line pressure.
Yep. Bethel trying to get it to the receiver on the screen. And for those of you at home, again, we're joined here by Nick Humphreys, a longtime Wagner student, employee, coach, you name it. And Nick has been here and his family throughout the years, and going to give you some insider information throughout the night.
Yeah, I tell you, it was a blessing to get to come back to my hometown and get to coach and be a part of our state championships and a lot of things that we did. So it's been a neat deal to see where we're at.
Bethel going way downfield, and that's a great play by number 2 to Caden Ford against his number's sake. Number 2 for the Tigers, Cash Keys, And had Ford not made that play, he might have been going the other way for 6.
Yes, yes, and you're going to see that a lot out of Fort Gibson tonight. They're going to have to do quick passes, or they're going to have to just max protect and chunk it. And it's going to be a long night. I'll just put it to you that way.
As the Tigers drop back for their second punt of this early game. That one almost was blocked.
Caden
Ford
caught it on
gets
the
it on
run.
the run. He's down the sidelines, and he was cut down at the 12. Heads up play by the sophomore, Caden Ford, and the Bulldogs have great field position.
Yes, yeah, that was again. It's the same thing in special teams. When you can catch a punt, I think the average they tell you in high school football is you can save yourself at least 15 yards of field position just by catching the punt. And so that right there, I mean, that ball hits the ground and rolls. We're back here starting. Goes up and catches it, and now we're on the 12-yard line. We're in 4-down territory, and given as physical as we can be on the offense, it's a tough place for Fort Gibson to be early in the game.
For sure. The second possession for the Bulldogs, and they have great field position. 1st and 10 from the Tiger 12-yard line. That shield knight in motion now settles in. And here's Charbonneau.
Yep.
He bounces to the outside, and he will be in for the score.
They're going to get us with a hold.
Yeah, yeah. It looked like Charbonneau had, it maybe even looked like he figured that out as he kind of pulled up, thinking, no, I think we're going to come back on this one.
I don't know if you really call this insider information, but you like to run to your own sidelines because they have a tendency to not call as many holds to your own sidelines as they do to the other team's sidelines. So, that's that can happen to you sometimes.
All right. Well, you heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Anytime you're watching football, whether that's high school, little league, junior high, or up, you might take some statistics on that. So it was a holding call.
Going the trips to the short side of the field right here.
It's 1st and 21 now.
One-on-one out here.
And that's where he's going. And goes a little high.
Little high, yep.
Ball falls incomplete. So it'll be 2nd and about 21. As Annette Walker watching from Moore, Oklahoma. That is, she says it's Auntie Annette, DJ Pierce's aunt.
Okay.
Stephanie Fleming's going to go Bulldogs. Kara Miller, I know you recognize that name,
Yes,
Justin and Jeremy Miller. And here is that 2nd and long play. This is Goodland on the jet sweep.
Excellent job, Avon.
And he gets inside the 10 to the 8-yard line, picks up most of that penalty yardage back. And looks like the refs are having a little conversation again, but I don't see any yellow on the field.
No, that's starting to confuse me a little bit. Oh, yeah, it's right over there on their sidelines on the 20-yard line. I see it. So it's going to be defensive offsides or an illegal formation, something that was right at the line of scrimmage.
Okay. Yeah, now I see it. It's right at the tip of the two.
See what we get here. Personal foul. Oh, chop block.
Wow, okay.
Well, I wasn't paying that close attention. So
as a chop block is a call against the Bulldogs. That'll be a 15-yard penalty. And what started as a 1st and 10 on the 12 is going to be 3rd and
it's
a long
way back here. Yeah. And it's after I'm assuming. Well, no, it's not after. So we should still be on 2nd down.
Kara with her boys, Justin and Jeremy Miller, watching tonight. David Sullivan, Amber Mitchell, Tristan Ketcher. I know you recognize that name.
Tristan, I'll tell you what. Yep. Tristan got me when I was a 21-year-old coach. Poor fella. He's a great kid.
If I remember correctly, he wore number 4 back in the day.
Yes, he did.
And speaking of number 4, there is Charbonneau, and he connects to Shield Knight.
Screen. Well, that or it was a dump off. I couldn't really tell. Oh, Alex is limping a little bit. I don't like that.
Well, and Charbonneau showing his arm strength is there's practically a Tiger holding on to his arm while he threw it. As Shield Knight is struggling to make it to the sidelines, and hopefully he'll be okay.
Yeah, hopefully this is just something a little bit more annoying than actually hurt. But yeah, Tristan, I got to coach Tristan a long time ago in baseball, and then it kind of worked out funny. When I went in that door for 4 years, he ended up being Coach Condit's quarterback when he first came to Wagoner.
Okay.
He led our team to that state championship game his senior year,
Yep.
and he was always a great leader of young people. So glad to hear from you, Tristan. Glad I got to see you a few weeks ago
Okay.
when we dedicated the field to Condon.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I got to see Tristan there. First time I've seen him in a while, but great kid, great kid. Again, I'm calling him a kid. He's not a kid.
Yeah, he's a man. He's a man. So, Shield Night still on the ground, and this stadium is silent.
Yeah, I don't.
Didn't really see any.
All right, that's a good sign.
Yeah. All right, here he goes. Oh, May
Seems
got a little.
seems a little irritated.
Yeah, yeah. May got a little twisted up when there was 3 or 4 Tigers in on that tackle. And many people just forget it's more than just uh, throwing the ball and catching the ball, especially when you're in traffic. There are a lot of things going on, and
Yes.
I think many times we kind of minimize the amount of skill that it takes just to catch a pass.
Oh yeah.
Here's Charbonneau on a 3rd and long, looking to his left, finds a man, Swanson.
Excellent. Excellent curl route right there at about the stick. So it gets us back at least to manageable here.
For sure.
Obvious, 4th down, and what are we sitting at? About 9 or 10?
Yeah, they put it on the other side of the 10.
Okay.
So we're back to the original line of scrimmage where Ford, where it seems like it was ages ago, returned that punt. We are back to that at the 11 and definitely manageable to get. Now, we can actually still pick up a first down here without the touchdown. Here's Charbonneau.
Oh, wheel route.
And he is wide open. That's Swanson, and he is in for the score. Touchdown. He worried me a little bit there, Nick, as he tried to cut back in. I thought he was just going to waltz into the corner.
Yes. I think he was trying to set the guy up, but yeah. He did a good job of getting the ball, and he's had a great start to this game. Matson has.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see it. Glad to see it. He's a weapon for our offense when he's playing well. Last week I believe it was Mr. Coleman. That was doing such a great job out at receiver. And you start putting more people on film where people see him making big catches, doing those things. Makes it real difficult on the defense coordinator that's preparing for us each week because you got to start at quarterback and say we don't want him to run the ball, and we got to keep the box somewhat loaded up for him. But then you see all these guys making these catches.
And that extra point comes in low this time. Butler not able to get it up and over, and so the extra point will fail. So the score will still remain Wagoner Bulldogs 13, Ft.Gibson Tigers 0, with 6:02 left in the first quarter. We'll take a little bit of break here. We'll leave the video up, and we'll be back in the ensuing kickoff in just a moment. You're just now joining us. That was the second touchdown on the second drive for the Wagoner Bulldogs, and they will kick off to the Tigers, and this will be their 3rd possession. Haven't made many yards on the offensive side for the Tigers, and this will be their 3rd possession. Brian Peck, we appreciate you logging on and watching. James Stevens said watching for Tulsa, says, hey, Nick.
Hey, nice to hear from you.
And here is the Tigers on the return.
Another flag?
Yep. The Tigers wouldn't have too bad a field possession, but I think we're going to have a holding call, and that's going to pin them back.
I feel like I'm watching the Dallas Cowboy game from last night with as many flags as I'm seeing.
Right.
I was like, goodness gracious. But,
And Nick, we are getting close to the 300 mark here tonight. Wherever those Bulldog fans may be, we know we've got them all over Wagoner, of course. And we've got Indianapolis, Indiana. We've got Naples, Florida. We got Lubbock, Texas. Got Kansas City, Missouri. And we appreciate every one of you guys who have logged on tonight to watch the Bulldogs as of right now in early command of
got
this
a condensed
game.
formation up top. Here comes the quick out there to 2. Yes. And we're going to get ourselves a penalty on Fort Gibson. So in the previous penalty it looked like a block in the back. So that's what pushed them back on the kickoff. And then we're gonna move them back a little bit further here, I believe. Yeah, like I said, number 2, Cash Keys is a really good player for them. Sophomore. Again, we're going to say that a lot.
Yep.
And it doesn't surprise me them trying to get him the ball in space. But obviously our coaches are well prepared. They know that as well. And we had a guy trying to jump it right there. And the old star formation right here. It looks like it's quads up top to the short side. Again, normally a formation where you're trying to get rid of it quick. Double pass.
And he's got the man.
That's a great job by Avon Goodman right there.
Yep.
Great job.
Goodman able to close that gap because there for a second it was there.
Yep.
But the receiver kind of had to wait on the ball, and then that allowed Goodman to close in.
Yeah, those star formations most of the time, it's a unique formation to line up to. So most of the time there's a little bit of a gimmick that comes out of it. That's normally the antennas of the defensive staff go up when they see that formation.
So with that penalty on the previous play, the Tigers are looking at a 2nd and about 17, it looks like, as Bethel from the quarterback position. Here's a little bit of delay, and
good job.
Number 4 able to squirt out through the muck.
Judd Rudd.
All right.
He's their senior leader on this team.
Okay.
He plays middle linebacker, I believe, for him, and tailback. But we're kind of, my goodness, we're keeping the box so light because we only got 5 guys in there. But the problem is those 5 guys are way better than their guys. And so as an offensive coach, they're probably thinking, hey, we got to run against this. Because as you see, we got numbers on the outside. We're 3 on 2, 3 on 2.
Mm-hmm.
But goodness gracious, I would not want to try to run against that defensive front.
Von Holt, Steele, Shield Knight.
Here comes another screen.
Oh, my.
Cal Charbonneau sniffed that one out.
Charbonneau with a birthday present for Grandma Miss Hetty.
Yes, yes.
As he about took the Tiger's head off there on that tackle.
Well, when you can start a defense off of having such a good defensive line, it really does limit a play caller. There's not a whole lot you can do. And as you're seeing, Fort Gibson's young offense is you got to get rid of it quick. You got to run quick screens, but we know that as well, and our players are jumping on that stuff quick. So
the Tigers will punt it away this time. A pretty decent punt, as there's been pressure on the previous punts. That'll take a little bit of a Tiger roll.
No, I don't. Well, Jeremy, I'll try not to be critical of officials. I don't like that over there. McFarland, number 9 for us, doing a great job blocking the kid. All he did was block him in the sideline. I didn't feel like it was anything extra, but I know how when the referees sense a little bit of a whipping coming, you're going to get a little bit of 50-50 that are going to lean a little bit to the team.
I got you.
Taking it a little bit, but.
So instead of the 47 of the Tigers, we're probably going to be at about the 42 of the Bulldog. Well, they're going to add 15 back. So we're going to be sticking at about the 37-yard line where the Bulldogs will set up shop there.
Unless there was something I didn't see. That's one when you watch film later, you're just going to tell the young man, hey, listen, you did a good job. Let go of him as soon as you hit the sideline.
Yeah.
I mean, the effort was there. I'll take an effort penalty.
Yeah. So a 1st and 10 now for the Bulldogs. This is Charbonneau. Makes one tackler miss. Oh, my goodness. And now he is into Tiger territory, maybe right at midfield. And for a 6 foot, 215-pounder, a little bit of shake and bake there in the backfield.
Yes. And I mean, I'm going to say it. He's got better feet than his daddy had, I'm telling you. He can listen to that later, but that was a nice little move in the backfield right there.
Charbonneau 1st and 10 from midfield, and this is Tayshawn Williams. Williams is going to pick up 6, maybe 7, and a little bit of extra here on this sidelines. But,
no worries. No.
So Tristan reminding the fans at home that with the way Wagoner defense is playing, they're going to have to watch for a lot of gimmicks.
Yes. No, you're pretty limited right now. We're going to have a stout defense this year for sure.
Here's a 2nd and 4 play, and this is
Counter boot.
all right.
Counter boot.
And that's Coleman wide open, and he will walk into the touchdown. Anthony Coleman. Nick, I was confused. I thought it was another like Williams on the previous play, and then I see Charbonneau rolling out. Coleman's behind the defense, and he basically just had to wait on it to drop in the breadbasket.
Counter boot is a great football play. It always has been. And you had a guy open in the flat, and you have him open deep on I'm going to assume a corner route. So, but no, that's the rhythm is going right now. You can definitely feel that Fort Gibson has. I didn't want to say it in pregame, but I kind of felt like this was coming. But you know, you got a team 3-0 coming into the game. A good young team.
Sure.
I know why they're excited, and I would be if I had a bunch of good young players. But young players that are sophomores aren't going to beat a seasoned group of seniors, and I think you're seeing a lot of that on tonight. I'm sure as the game goes on, you're going to see some sparks and some plays out of some of those young kids from Fort Gibson because they are a talented group. But they've run into a little different opponent tonight than what they've played the first 3 weeks.
For sure. And as Along adds that extra point for the Bulldogs with 3:50 left in this first quarter, it's Wagoner Bulldogs 20, Fort Gibson Tigers 0. And MW Duck, you're right. Fort Gibson does have some nice facilities. And I want to give a shout out to Coach DJ. That's DJ Pierce's uncle, watching from North Carolina. Says keep up the great work, FNB. And DJ was actually able to watch us last Monday as our softball team won the district championship against Verdigris.
Okay.
His niece, which I'm assuming is DJ's DJ's sister, is Josiah Pierce, and she is the starting second baseman for the Wagner softball team.
Yep, that's a very talented group. If you have not had an opportunity to go see them play, I genuinely recommend for you to get out there at regionals this next week.
Absolutely.
And, hopefully we'll get to host soup in the regionals as well.
That would be awesome. Here's Along, and that's a deep high kick, and that is going to bounce into the end zone. And you know, a lot again, we talked about the kind of underestimating or underplaying the role that special teams has. I want to go a little bit deeper with that and talk about the different approach that you have to have if Along is kicking deep, or it's Butler who's getting that little bit of pooch kick. That's a lot of different approach to fielding that.
Well, anything you do and you put it on film, it's preparation that the other team has to do. And so you got to work with your kick return team on high pooches.
Right.
You got to work with them on deep kicks. You got to do some of that stuff. It's more added time that they have to spend doing. Counter, which that
Steele was first there.
Like 15 carrying the ball for them. Senior McComb.
Number 42 also on the stop for the Bulldogs, Gavin Miller. And looks like Shield Knight's back out there, Nick.
Yeah, he got back out last drive as well.
Okay.
I think it was something probably scared him a little bit, but he hopped up pretty quick. Yeah, I'm saying they're saying tag your it of who gets to play tailback tonight for Fort Gibson. Like, all right, listen, I took my licks for a little bit. Get out there.
For sure. That last play was a 3-yard loss.
Short motion up
Here's
top.
Bethel.
Quarterback takeoff running. Great job by Kale.
He had a little bit of daylight there, but Kale was able to make a great open field tackle. And he gets back to the original line of scrimmage at the 20-yard line, 3rd and 10 for the Tigers and the quarterback Bethel. Amber and Jamie, appreciate you guys logging on with Melody. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't sure if I gave her a shout out watching tonight. And we just eclipsed the 300 mark.
Okay.
So here's a 3rd and 10 for the Tigers. Bethel from the shotgun.
Yeah,
he just doesn't have any time.
No, he doesn't. And these stacked formations that they're doing, running us from sideline to sideline, as the game progresses, we're going to have to watch the middle of the field, then trying to leak somebody out down the middle, typically the tailback. But it's like I said, it's a tough thing to try to call offense against our defense when our defensive line is not letting your quarterback have any time to think at all.
Yeah. And you got to think and see at the same time. And
correct.
Here is another punt by the Tigers. High kick, and that's a very effective one. Yeah,
That was a good angle punt that time.
absolutely.
Whether he did it on purpose or not, that was well placed.
It will be Jesus Mancivas able to down it there with no return, more importantly for the Tigers. And it will be a 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs from the 32-yard line with 2:28 left in the game or in the first quarter.
There's zero insight on this next statement, but when you kind of got a team like this, it wouldn't shock me with us trying to take a shot here pretty quick just to kind of go ahead and put the nail in the coffin early.
Yeah. It'll be Charbonneau from the shotgun, 1st and 10 from the 32. This is number 6.
Oh, well, that'll
Number
work.
6, DJ Pierce.
That'll work.
Hopefully, Coach DJ is able to see this and his nephew going in for the score. Touchdown, Bulldogs. Number 6, DJ Pierce, 68 yards.
Yep. Well, I was right about the big play, but it didn't have to come in anything fancy. That was just a pretty standard run, blocked great up front. You're seeing that huge advantage that the Bulldogs have tonight on the line, both ways, offense and defensive line. The big guys up front are doing a fantastic job in this game.
So the Bulldogs will line up for the extra point. Looks like they're going to go for 2, and it'll be Stylen McHenry. And McHenry is going to dump it in the end zone to Shield Knight for the 2-point conversion.
Had to get that point back.
Yeah, yeah. Wagoner Bulldogs 28, Ft.Gibson Tigers 0. 2 minutes and 14 seconds left. If you just now join us, you just missed DJ Pierce going 68 yards on a rushing touchdown, and Coach DJ looks like he was able to see it, and he's giving him a shout out in the comments.
Again, I'm telling you, when you got number 6, number 4, you got
Williams.
Madsen,
Yep.
You got our receiver Coleman.
Yep. You got Coleman.
All these guys have made big plays already tonight,
yep.
And that's a nightmare for a defense to try to prepare for.
Auntie Annette also able to watch DJ just run that 68-yarder. So here is Balalong to kick it away for the Bulldogs. And the Tigers just trying to get some type of offense going here.
I think he missed that one.
Yeah, I do too. And that, speaking of offense going, that might have been their best offensive play right there.
Yeah, we're going to be close to the 50-yard line. I mean, I don't know if they'll cross it, but we're close to it. So,
well, give a shout out to Missy and Mike Lassner. I know you know those as well. And Missy's saying everything's coming.
Mike, we apologize. We apologize. I mean, we're being awful mean to the Tigers tonight, but
saying the picture's coming across loud and clear, and excited to hear Coach Hump on the mic with us. Here's a 1st and 10 for the Tigers. A handoff.
Oh,
is that Von Holt? Yep, number 56, Hayden Von Holt. He's the junior defensive end, 6'3", 240, and they just don't have anybody to block him.
No, and we're bringing a little bit of pressure on the inside there, which is, it's a great job by Coach Gilstrap right there. He's making sure we're getting those defensive linemen single block because he's bringing those linebackers. So, not only are we good, we're prepared. It's a scary combination for Ft.Gibson tonight.
So 2nd and 14 now. His wide receiver 2. Yep.
Oh.
Boy, somebody put a hat on him. I think that was Bryce Steele.
Yep. Yep.
So that's when you have those tight, wide receiver screens, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of bodies in a very short field span.
Well, the one thing you can't ever take for granted and you appreciate is our defense. For years and years and years, our kids fly to the football, and that is as a coach, that's what you're hoping to get out of your defense. If you do anything wrong, at least you're doing it fast.
Yeah.
And
right. You're going way downfield, and it hangs up in the air.
Yeah, they're going to call that. I mean, it's kind of iffy, but I knew that was coming.
when the ball is up in the air for that long, everybody's trying to adjust where and looked like some feet got tangled up.
And when your hands are on them, I mean, it's going to look like a call for an official.
Mhm.
Now, I'm an old defensive back coach as well, so
Okay.
I don't ever like defensive pass interference, but at the same time, I don't think that was anything malicious by anything, but you're going to get that call.
So the call will be pass interference on the Bulldogs. That'll be a 15-yard penalty, and the ball will be placed at the 47-yard line. And Keaton Cole, there's a name that you recognize from last year, able to log on and watch his former team. Just last year, Keaton playing on this very team and had a very vital part of getting them to the state championship.
Pressure again.
That's Steele.
That's Von Holt.
Von Holtz. Harris also in there, and also Miller. I mean, just when you think you got one blocked, here comes three more.
Well, and that, like I said, we're bringing at least one linebacker, and we're guaranteeing that you're going to have to block our defensive lineman one-on-one, and it's just not going to be. It's hard to do.
We are at 315 homes now watching Bulldog football, and thank you guys for logging on and supporting Wagoner Bulldog football. Here's a 2nd and 14.
Star formation again.
Here's that same little wide receiver
42
screen.
out
And here
wide,
it comes.
so we're going to go back 10 yards from there. So.
Miller, even getting held, still made the tackle there.
Yeah.
But the referees are right there on top of it, and we're going to have a holding call against the Tigers. And with since that pass interference call, Nick, the Tigers continue to move the wrong direction if you're a Tiger fan.
Yeah, like I said, Coach Nolan over there for Ft.Gibson, he's a good young coach. He's at Keys. He's an old Keys boy from back in the day. I coached against him when I was down at Gore. He was one heck of a high school quarterback. I know he's got a good plan and a good idea, but he's just outmanned tonight.
Yeah. And that is the end of the first quarter. The Wagoner Bulldogs 28, the Ft.Gibson Tigers 0. And Russ Jones saying the dogs look awesome and great Scott fireworks. That's Grandpa Scott watching Kale from Coweta. And everyone else that is logged on tonight. We appreciate every one of you. And while we have a little break in the action as we wait the second quarter, I want to give a shout out to our Friday Night Bulldog sponsors. The corporate sponsors are Advanced Orthopedics, Cherokee Personnel, Prestige Plumbing, Good Neighbor Realty, Row Insurance, Richard Gray, Evan Grover GMC, Moore Lancaster Agency, the Bank First, Apex Title and Closing, and Beth Johnson of Good Neighbor Realty. Our elite sponsors for Friday Night Bulldogs include Shipman Funeral Home, Armstrong Bank, Aspire Health, Harvest Bank, Blue Sky Bank, Smoking Sisters on Dewey, Meats and More, Wagner County Abstract, Al Drug, Bonnie's Flowers, and Smoking Sisters on Main. And Nick, we've talked about this the last couple of weeks, John and I. I think the thing that we get great great support from the community throughout the year. But what makes it even a little more special is a lot of those businesses are Wagner people themselves. They're either graduated from Wagner or longtime residents from Wagner, and we appreciate all of their support.
Yeah.
We're going to have a double pass here again. Makes one tackler miss, hangs it up there, and this time he catches it. I believe that's number 7 who comes down with it, Brody Hanson.
Another sophomore.
Nick, as soon as he took a couple of steps back and waiting for that throw from the quarterback, we knew we were going to see that same play.
Yeah, they went to that double pass. Just it started out of the star. They motioned to kind of bring a little illusion to it. The Caden did a fantastic job on that. Sometimes you're just unlucky as a defensive back. It's a jump ball, and the guy went up and made a play. Yep. I mean, he covered it well. It's just got to fight the hands when the ball's coming down. That's about the best thing you can do in those situations.
by far the deepest penetration into Bulldog territory that the Tigers have had. There's 1st and 10 on the Bulldog 35. Here's a
There's
play
the
down the
middle. Yep.
seam and had was that Von Holt applying
No,
the
that was
pressure?
Shield Knight.
Shield Knight.
Yeah. Shield Knight got him square that time.
Yep. And
He's
had
still
he
trying to move.
had Shield Knight not applied that pressure, he had the man open down the seam.
Well, and that's what I said. They stack them out there and they're spreading you out all over the field. Middle of the field's what they're trying to open up.
Okay.
And that was coming. But again, that defensive line pressure pretty much saved us there from a big play.
So the Tigers number, I believe that was Rudd, not able to get much back to the line of scrimmage and no more. As it looks like it's still number 12 out there, Logan Bethel, the quarterback for the Tigers tonight. And it has been tough sledding so far with a 3rd and 10 from the Bulldog 35. The Tigers looking over to the sidelines for the play call.
Yeah, they're putting 2 backs in the backfield. I'm going to assume to protect the quarterback maybe a little bit, but no, they're going to try to run it. And
I believe that was Rudd again. And that's what I was about to say, Nick. Usually when you have that kind of pressure, you got to drop some running backs back in to be some extra blockers.
Yeah. I've been that play caller before when when the other team's really good on the defensive line, and it makes it hard. And I think they're trying to find a few things that can work for them. But like I said, they're going to try to max protect a little bit more. Again, 2 backs in the backfield again. I would suspect we're going to get a shot down here with one of these good ones, that receiver.
A 4th and 11 now. Bethel looking downfield, got a man.
Great job by 26.
That's Coleman. Oh, he was looking for 6 on the defensive side of things this time.
Yes. And like I said, that's the next option for Ft.Gibson right there. Put a couple backs in the backfield. Now the problem is you only got 3 guys out on a route, and we got plenty of guys back there covering. So it's we'll take over from right there. And again, this is a great opportunity for our offense to continue to get many people involved and put a lot of things on film for people. Let them see a lot of playmakers because we got them.
Yep. 10 minutes, 3 seconds left in the second quarter as the Bulldogs will take over with the defense holding and forcing the turnover on downs. And here's Charbonneau looking downfield for Swanson. And that almost came up with circus grab. Really, the Tiger defender.
Got a flag, and it looks like we're going to have hands to the face, and he's pointing, I think, to Ft.Gibson.
Okay.
I'm trying to, we'll take it.
That one hung up there a little bit more than what Charbonneau wanted.
Hands to the face on Ft.Gibson.
Okay. So right when they make a pretty, a great defensive play, it really should have been picked off. As again, it hung up there a little bit longer than Charbonneau wanted to, but nevertheless, hands to the face at a 15-yard penalty. The Bulldogs will now set up shop 1st and 10 on the Tiger 49.
And we're going to bringing 42 in motion here.
That's Miller. And now Tayshawn Williams on the jet sweep.
Great play there. Great play. Number 44, I believe.
Yep.
Eric Shannon.
All right.
Junior. It's only great I hadn't got to say so far for him. But they do let juniors play football at Ft.Gibson.
Able to shed the Bulldog blocker and tackle Williams back to the 44. A loss of 7 on the play, 2nd and 17 for the Bulldogs. Charbonneau dropping back to pass and looking over the middle. He's got a man. That's Goodland. Number 10, Avon Goodland, coming across the middle. And Nick, he's only 5'9", 155, but little guy showing some guts coming across the middle.
Yes. And you guys at home are getting to see a perfect example of a quarterback who can sit back in the pocket and throw it where he wants to. And when you see them on offense, he's not got any time, and it's a little different game they're playing tonight.
Yeah. Goodland able to pick up a first down on a 2nd and 17. That play there, Charbonneau looking in the flat for Coleman, and Coleman was looking to run before he caught it. So It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Bulldogs at the Tiger 35. We're at the 9-minute mark of the second quarter. Charbonneau.
Yep.
He's got a lot of field to run. He's stiffs arm one. And
you know, them poor souls that are out there whenever he's running downhill. I don't know how fast he is, but I know how big he is.
Yeah, right.
I tell you right now that has to hurt trying to tackle him. He's got those dadgum tree trunks for
Yes,
legs.
exactly. He gets to the 22, so he picked up about 13 there, 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. Here's Tayshawn Williams.
Little counter action. Okay. Not a bad play right there by number 65, Cooper Haddock, sophomore. I believe Cooper, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe he's starts at center on their basketball team as a freshman last year. Really talented basketball kid. I wasn't aware that he was a football.
No gain on that play.
I would suspect we're going to see number 9 involved for us here before too long. I think
that's McFarland.
Yep. I think it wouldn't shock me if we don't get a shot downfield at him here before too long.
2nd and 10 from the Tiger 22-yard line. And Charbonneau, that's Shield Knight on the slant.
Yeah.
And usually he's going up the seam or, sometimes they even give it to him on an underneath screen. This time on a skinny slant, I guess, if you want to call it that. And he's going to pick up about 7 on the play, make up a 3rd and 3 for the Bulldogs.
We like to call those plays tendency breakers.
Okay.
We like to run a play as the other team's preparing every week. They're like, wait, they always put him here. And now we're going to move him around and do some different things.
Gotcha. This is Tayshawn Williams looking for first down yardage.
And we got the first down.
Yeah, he gets forward progress inside the 10, maybe right at the 10. It's going to be 1st and goal for the Bulldogs. And we've talked about DJ Pierce, and looks like it's a family affair online because now Grandma's involved now. Miss Georgia Fry, appreciate her along and on. The Vunatich family, some Wagner kids saying hello, and Rocky Mitchell giving another shout out to our sponsors, and we do appreciate their sponsorship of Friday Night Bulldogs. And I guess they're going to get it just shy of 10 yards. Here's Charbonneau.
That right there, you'll see that as the season progresses. That's a very physical approach by us. You got Von Holt, you got Shield Knight, and you got Steele, all on the field at the same time. Trying to add a little bit of element of a power running game down around the red zone.
Gotcha.
It's going to make it really hard on people. Because as you see up top, you got Von Holt, you got Shield Knight, and you got Steele right by each other.
So technically it's 2nd and 5, although here's Tayshawn Williams.
Good job of the outside backer right there. I believe it's outside backer.
He gets to the 2-yard line. And, Nick, if they get inside the 1, they can actually pick up a first down before a touchdown.
That almost seems unfair. Okay.
3rd, and we're going to call it 1 from the 2.
Again, I really like what Coach Bryant's doing right here with this physical aspect, adding to our offense, because it really will make us very tough to defend as the
Speaking of Pierce, that's him in motion.
Yep, that's
a little bit of decoy there as Charbonneau basically kind of stepped through a couple of tacklers and into the end zone for the score. Touchdown, Bulldogs.
Again, excellent job. Excellent job up front. Throwing the ball, we're running the ball. We got good balance tonight. It's been a very impressive first half. Now as a coach, you're really trying to talk up the little things. The only thing that can go bad with this evening is you start being a little silly and you're not paying attention to detail late as the game's kind of getting out of hand here. Going to go for 2 again.
McHenry. Side. Oh. Yeah, that was just a good hit there.
Yep.
Good timed hit as McHenry tried to find Coleman, and good defensive play by the Tigers. So the score will remain Wagner Bulldogs 34, Ft.Gibson 0, 5:52 left in the first half. Home Toad, we met with him last week, watching from the Four Corners. And both of us being old geography teachers, and I didn't go quite far enough west.
I didn't want to interject in that deal. As I was listening to that discussion last week, because, I was at the game.
Right.
And then we still had about another 2.5, 3 hour drive. And so I got to hear about the I think it was about the fourth quarter.
Yes,
We were
yep.
on that. We were headed down to Cache, America, and I wanted to chime in, but I'm sitting there driving down the road, and I'm like,
Go west, young man. Go
That's why.
west.
You were on the right train of thought, man. I was with you. I was wanting to thumbs up, send you something on my phone while I was driving, but that would not have been the safest route.
Amber Mathis, appreciate you logging on. Amber Mitchell and Connie Taylor Merker. You recognize? I know you recognize that. Watching from New Hampshire, Salem,
Yes, Miss
New
Connie, how
Hampshire.
are you doing? How are you doing?
Caden,
See your grandbabies growing up. That's for sure.
here's that short, high pooch kick fielded about the 28.
Oh, great hit right there by
McFarland.
McFarland.
McFarland shows a lot on special teams. He's returned punts, he's returned kicks, he makes tackles when we on the kickoff. And just a couple of weeks ago, again, he recovered that fumble on the punt for a touchdown. I believe the opening week against Tigers.
The term I use on the sidelines when I watch him play is squirrely. He's just squirrely.
Yeah.
He's in the middle of everything. I really enjoy watching him play football. He does a good job for us.
Caden Fox, if you're still listening, he's a seventh grader at Wagoner Middle School, logging on and watching the Bulldogs play. Jamie Steele with a shout out to let's see, that might be her nephew Bryce, talking about his blocking as he reminds me a lot of a guy that we just talked about. He's a Wagner kid, Frank Hofschulte.
Yeah.
Kind of same build and just tough. Just tough.
Yep. Just tough.
It does a lot out on the field. So on
Good hard
both sides.
run right there by number 4,
Yeah.
old Rudd senior.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a good hard run.
Picked up it was a 2nd and 10. He'd want to pick up 7 to the 41 and make it a manageable 3rd and about 3 or 4 for
I
the
want
Tigers.
to shout out loud, please watch the football. Please watch the football.
Yes.
And there it was.
Oh, yep.
Dadgummit, I hate being right on that. I promise you, every coach, for those of you at home, I promise you, every coach on that sideline is yelling, watch the football from the minute that ball got placed down on the ground. But the great thing about having aggressive kids playing defense is they play really hard.
Yeah.
The negative to it is they play sometimes too early, but it happens.
Tigers will pick up a first down on that offside penalty. And here's Rudd again, and that's Shield Knight again on the tackle. But Rudd's going to pick up good yardage on a first down play across the 50. They're going to mark him just shy of the Bulldog 49. And we'll call it a pickup of 4. And Tigers trying to put something together here before halftime.
Yeah, you're I believe right now, I don't think Von Holt's out there with Alex, so they're kind of mixing and matching it. You're kind of getting to that time of the game where I promise you, as they progress down, you'll see Von Holt back out there with them. But, again, it's that depth that we got on the defensive line that allows you to play some of these guys.
Here's Rudd into the Bulldogs secondary. He's going to get to the 40-yard line.
And here comes Von Holt. It was coming. You got to get some of those guys some of those reps, though, because you just never know. The blessing of being in Wagner is you got an opportunity to win a state title, but you also got to stay healthy and you got to build your depth throughout the year. And so our coaching staff will do a good job of getting those guys ready. You just never know when you're going to need them.
Absolutely. And that's really been going on really since Coach Condit has gotten here. We'll come back to that idea. 1st and 10 after that Rudd play, and this time
a little different. A little different.
That's Harris and Charbonneau, and looks like number 25. That's Javon Smith.
Okay.
Talking about the sophomore class. Javon, part of that sophomore class. And what we're talking about, Nick, what you mentioned is the amount of reps that the second team and even third team get throughout the season. And it's amazing, and it's contributed underneath.
That's a great read right there. Yeah. I believe that Shield Knight, that was a great read right there. If they're not blocking you, there's a reason they're not blocking you, and you stop immediately, and he did a great job of retracing right there. But, yeah, that's the one thing about, you build that depth in everybody. And in today's time, I mean, you're teaching team, you're trying to teach camaraderie. And I understand it's hard for some of these young kids to go out for a football team when they see all these seniors playing and doing these things. But there's so many reps out there for these kids, and their time will come. So I watching them get these reps on Friday night, because all it will do is benefit us in the future.
Absolutely. There's a 3rd and 12 for the Tigers from the 41. Bethel looking downfield, gives it up for a jump ball.
Great job by Decaden right there. That was a great job.
Ford patient in timing that jump, as it really was a jump ball there.
Yeah, and and that's as good as we are up front, I mean, as the season progresses and as we continue to play teams, and we get into the playoffs later in the year, you're going to take shots at our corners. Our corners understand that that's where you're going to attack our defense. You're going to attack it out there. You're not going to try to attack it right up the middle. And so those guys have done an excellent job. I've been very proud of them. And they stay focused throughout the year. It's one of those positions that you might be out there half the night and not get 5 balls thrown your way, but you better be awake when they do.
Right. And here's the punt that goes into the end zone for the touchback with 2:14 left in the ball game, or in the first half. Wagner's still 34-0. And Nick, don't be surprised if the Bulldogs try to punch one more in to kind of put the nail in the coffin for this first half.
Well, I didn't want to end the suspense, but I guarantee you we're going to try to score one more time. It's been a few years since we've got to come play these Tigers, and so I know we're pretty excited. I made sure all the new guys on the coaching staff that hadn't played Ft.Gibson, just kind of let them know that throughout the week we want to go ahead and make them understand. They're playing Wagner tonight. We enjoy that.
And that play is blown dead before it got started. We're probably going to have somebody that's probably started early.
Is very upset because he was running right down the middle of the field. Now, whether they quit on the play or not, I couldn't tell you, but I can just tell you there wasn't anybody within 15 yards of him, and he was thinking,
Well, and especially since it actually ended up being a defensive play, as the looked like it offsides was the call against the Tigers.
Free play.
So the 5-yard penalty to the 25, now 1st and 5 for the Bulldogs. And here's Charbonneau. That is, Matson Swanson able to get across the 35 to the 36-yard line. And we'll see a little bit of a hurry up.
Well, and that's as I said, when you get into the season right here, this is an opportunity for you to practice your 2-minute offense, and never know when you're going to need it. I know our boys have been highly successful, winning by quite a few points so far, but there will be a game that will be an important aspect of it, and so good opportunity to practice it.
That's Swanson again. Little outplay, able to get out of bounds to stop the clock with 1 minute and 50 seconds. And Nick, you brought up another good point of I've always thought that Wagner's coaching staff has done a great job about looking ahead, not looking past a team, obviously, but looking ahead in situations like this of, okay, what can we do to prepare for next week?
Yeah.
What can we show a team that maybe we haven't shown?
That's great pressure by Ft.Gibson to get to him. But again, it's the same thing once he gets going downhill. But yeah, to that point, Jeremy, I mean, the reality is that our team's goals, we know, are set for week 12, 13, and 14. I mean, that's where our brain goes. And so you got to do and prepare for those moments. You don't want to get there and then not know what you got. And so, our coaching staff does a fantastic job of preparing for those.
Charbonneau down the seam to number 2, Decaden Ford. Ford goes up and grabs it. It was number 2, his namesake. They've had a couple of battles over the night so far, Cash Keys, but Ford comes up on the better end of it this time.
Decaden is such a tough kid. He's a really good kid for us. Great kid in the hallways, does a great job, and he's an excellent football player. So you saw him play defensive back a minute ago, and then he comes over here and makes a play.
1st and 10 for the Bulldogs at the 18 of the Tigers. And this time is DJ Pierce. Pierce inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. I believe the Bulldogs still have the full complement of timeouts, and we're just now under the minute mark. So plenty of time left on the clock for a 2nd and 6 on the Tiger 14.
Yeah, you don't mind scoring early, but you also don't mind bleeding about another 20 or 30 seconds off the clock.
Here's Charbonneau, got a Tiger holding on to him. He's still able to get the ball off, but the ball falls incomplete. 55, able to apply the pressure for the Tigers.
Well, 65.
65,
That's that
okay.
old basketball center I was telling you about.
Okay.
6'6", 211. He's but yeah, I'm sorry for me being overly cautious. I don't like quarterbacks when they fall on their throwing shoulder.
Yeah, sure.
So
42 seconds left now in a 3rd and 7. Charbonneau got plenty of time looking into the end
Matson
zone, and that is
intercepted.
intercepted by the Tigers, and I think that ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage.
I was watching the routes downfield, Jeremy, to be honest with you, but he was in good coverage the whole time. So I get giving your guy a shot though. So
our stream is a little behind live action, so we're actually able to see the play.
okay.
And so this is the previous play that we just saw. For those of you at home, we're able to watch the same thing that you're watching right now. And no, he just in double coverage, and the Tigers were able to make a play on that.
Yep, he's just trying to give the guy a chance to go make a play, and that was great coverage. It looked like is that number 2?
Yeah, I think so. Or number 8 actually
Number
made
8
interception, but number 2 was back there as well.
Okay, number 8, Kai Murrell. Yeah, another sophomore.
Okay.
You know they like I said, as the night goes on, you're going to see some Fort Gibson guys make some plays. They got some talented kids, but
so on a 2nd and about 7, the Tigers, I think, really,
that'll take us to halftime right there.
even though they weren't able to do anything on offense there, no, that was a great win for them as far as the interception in the end zone right before halftime, or the score would have been 40-41 to nothing.
Well, when you're sitting there on the other sideline, I mean, the reality is you want to go into halftime with something positive, and they had a little something positive there. And what they're going to want to see out of their kids is just some fight.
Yep.
You know, I mean, that's kind of what you find out in these moments right here is because it can't be a whole lot of fun coming into this game and being down this at halftime. But I know that that's what Coach Nolan will be looking for out of Fort Gibson in the second half, just which kids are going to keep fighting.
Yep. Yep. And we were talking about looking forward on when you're talking about if you're on the winning side of things, but even if you're on the losing side of things, as far as right now being down 34-0, you're still going to, what you're alluding to is you're still going to look for what's going to happen in the future. And you're talking about the kids fighting. You're going to look for next game. If we get down, you're going to remember this game of give up.
Yeah, and typically what you're going to probably see tonight is you're going to want Fort Gibson's going to want to come out and make something positive happen in that third quarter. And then, they'll start thinking ahead. They'll be just like we will about the fourth quarter. They'll start thinking ahead of staying healthy because I think they're excited about the team they have. I know they're not on the good end of this tonight by any stretch, but I think they're definitely feeling like they're going to be fighting for a playoff spot and want to improve their playoff standings. So they'll want to see some positives and stay healthy as the evening goes on as well.
I want to say hello to Alice Schneider. Alice is a Wagoner grad watching Friday Night Bulldogs, and Nick, I'd hesitate to even bring this up, but Fleming was wondering if he could get a Go Yankees.
Listen, he is never getting that out of me on the stadium deal. I mean, just listen. Rangers, we won our World Series last year. We took this year off. It's okay. We'll be back. But yeah, no, that ain't happening, Fleming. Sorry.
We'll catch up on a few more in our chat room as the halftime shows get ready, and I believe that we're going to be able to keep the cameras, and probably the sound is going to be a little quiet, but I think you'll be able to hear enough of it to enjoy the halftime show. Bobby Schaefer, his nephew, he calls him Bo Boucher. Bo McFarland is Bobby's nephew, giving him a shout out. Charlie Burns, his father-in-law, watching Bulldog football, saying everything looks great on both sides of the ball, and it really has, offensively and defensively. Tigers have just not had an answer either way.
And Charlie, just so you know, I'm keeping an eye on your son-in-law tonight. I'm making sure he's behaving. All right. I know you are concerned about that from time to time, but I'll keep a good eye on him.
Brooks, the creator, Brooks Ladd. He's a seventh grader at Wagner Middle School, logging on tonight. Jamie, we are going to bring you the halftime show, and hopefully it'll come across loud and clear. And Pam Beck, watching the Bulldogs from Tahlequah tonight. And so we appreciate the support of Wagner Bulldog football. And the looks like the Tigers are now this is the
It's our band.
okay. I was about to say they're both in black and red tonight. So
Well, and I'm so, our band directors do such a fantastic job with these kids, and they do such a fantastic. The amount of time these kids put into it, I'm telling you, if you
oh
haven't
yeah,
had an opportunity to see, being an old football coach and seeing them out on the field early in the mornings
yep,
and stuff, they put in all that time. Even though I can't play any kind of instrument at all or hold a tune of any kind, I'm always very impressed. And Miss Aldridge and Mr. Schultz do a fantastic job with
they
these
do.
kids.
And especially now, it's really apparent because as it is still dark in the morning when we're going to school, the lights at the football field are on, and the band's already out there at 7 o'clock or before.
Yeah, that's like I said, they put in a lot of time, effort, and I believe they got a big competition coming up. It might be tomorrow. I remember
Yeah, I think they're going to
going to
Oologah.
Oologah
Yep,
tomorrow. Go see an old Wagner
yep,
band guy
yep.
up at Oologah.
That's right, Dave Smith
Yes.
there with the Mustangs. So we are going to step away and let you enjoy the halftime show of the Wagner Marching Band. And we'll be back in about 10, 12 minutes and bring everybody back to speed of what to expect for the second half. You're watching Friday Night Bulldogs live on the WPS live streams on YouTube.
Ladies and gentlemen, your halftime entertainment, please welcome the Royal Regiment. Tonight, the Royal Regiment will be performing their 2024 competitive marching show entitled Sirens of the Sea. Show will feature solos from Justice, Wyatt Wilson, Hayden Brown, Peyton Reynolds, and Lennox Daniels. Band is under the field command of Senior Drum Major Deanna Mendoza, Junior Drum Major Annie Hooker, and they take the field for halftime performance. Royal Benjamin. Benjamin, good luck tomorrow. Kickoff. Stallion Battalion.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're awaiting the start of the second half. Bulldogs and Tigers both at each end of the end zone, doing a little halftime stretch to get ready for this second half. Bulldogs dominated the first half with your score 34-0. And I believe, Nick, the only time that the Bulldogs did not score was that last drive that I think threw the interception in the end zone.
Yeah, I think that was the only possession that we didn't end with the score. But like I said, I think taking a shot, giving his guy a opportunity. But yeah, it was a very well played first half.
So we'll see what is in store for this second half. And again, if you just now join us, the Bulldogs have controlled the first half. And it's Garrett Haddock behind the camera and the laptop, as he always is. It's Jeremy Holmes here. And again, we have a special treat tonight as John Page is out of town this week. And he let me know a long time ago he wouldn't be in this week. And so Nick and I have been trying to get him up here for about 5 years now, even when I wasn't part of Friday Night Bulldogs. And he's dusted off the old headset. And this time it's just to call the game online and not to call the game here at Ft.Gibson.
Yeah, it's a different headset I got on tonight for sure. An enjoyable experience. I've really enjoyed being up here, and like I said, Bulldogs playing well. I certainly wasn't going to balk at the opportunity to come watch Ft.Gibson and Wagoner and talk about it.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So, but it's nice to see this rivalry kind of rekindled a little bit on the gridiron.
Yeah, for sure, especially during the regular season. When a lot of times we have met the Ft.Gibson Tigers in that first round or second round, and it's been a while since they've been in our district. So this is quite the treat to see them early in the season.
Yeah, and as the season progresses, you'll see kind of how our district falls and where people go. No matter what the score says, I really think you'll see that Ft.Gibson team make a little bit of noise inside the district. I think they'll be vying for a playoff spot.
Okay. So
Teams are getting back.
Heather Tillotson, appreciate her logging on. High school teacher there in Wagoner. Watching the Bulldogs take care of business here. James Stevens has got Rowan out there in the band. Rowan is a 8th grader at Wagoner Middle School. And I know the sound probably wasn't very loud for you at home. And we'll try to fix that throughout the year and try to get some different mics. Right now, what you heard was through the actual headset. So probably didn't hear much, but hopefully you're able to see the formations at least as the Bulldog band gets ready for their first competition of the year, I believe, and they're traveling to Oologah tomorrow, Nick.
Yeah, and I heard the announcer say Ft.Gibson will be doing the same. So those two bands, it was a good opportunity for them to get out tonight in front of a crowd and do their performance, because I know they've been working really hard on that, and there's nothing better than to get in front of a live audience and to perform.
And that's just like if you're on the football team, if you're in the band, there's just something different about playing in practice and playing what is essentially game time for the Bulldog band as well.
Sneak on. And
that is Javon. That is Javon Miles. Or sorry, Javon Smith. Number 25 with a heads-up play, and he just returned that about 45 yards for a score. And the appropriate term, Nick, backfired.
Yes, yes. They come out with that onside kick. That was a heads-up play right there by that young man, and he's saying, "Listen, I play on the defensive line, so the odds of me getting an opportunity to carry this ball that much is not that great. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and field that ground ball and go on into the end zone."
So this is a joke between Javon and I. I said, if you're listening there, I said Javon Miles. Well, that was a cross between a nickname I gave him back when he was a sixth grader, called him Booby Miles. And as Butler kicks it through the uprights to make it 41 for the Bulldogs and 0 for the Tigers. But his real name is Javon Smith. He's a sophomore, younger brother Jonas Smith is a freshman, and we're probably going to call his name tonight before the night's over.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to see quite a few people out, and that if that wasn't going to do it with that touchdown, it sped up the process.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as a as an offensive coach, we were probably wanting to run a few plays, probably had a few things designed right there, but you will gladly take that right there, and then you get an opportunity for a young man to go get a touchdown. That
Yep,
you never know how many of those you get an opportunity to have.
for sure. It just kind of, as far as Fort Gibson is concerned, that's I'm I'm doing exactly that, trying to get some momentum and maybe take it by surprise, but just heads up play by Javon Smith to return that for a touchdown.
Well, that's kind of like we talked right before halftime. Is that's what Fort Gibson's looking for. They're looking for a third quarter, just something to build off of,
Yep.
something where they can put it on film and say, "Look how well we've done." There's a nice little pooch kick again by Butler.
Yep.
Great coverage. Oh well, I think he's going to say that was a face mask. I think we kind of grazed it. I don't know that we grabbed it, but I don't really think he's going to ask me my opinion up here either.
I agree. It more looked like maybe just a hand coming across the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to watch what our fans are getting ready to watch. Again, our stream is about 12 to 15 seconds behind live action. The Tigers will have the ball 1st and 10 on their own 35. As I'm just now watching the screen, Nick, and Rhett just kicked it, and we're going to see. Yeah, he got him just right there on the backside of the helmet.
Kind of grazed it.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what it looked like, and they didn't.
But of course, we do have the luxury of being able to watch that again, unlike the zebras on the field that have to make a split-second decision.
Looks like we still are sticking with the majority of the defensive starters. Probably one of those situations where you're going to get a series or two maybe out of them. And part of this is conditioning purpose, in some situations, because, there's going to be a time in the year where we're going to have to play 4 quarters all the way through and probably just wanting to get a little bit more reps in for them.
Ryan Murphy giving a shout out to Javon, saying that's our boy. He's got another nickname. They call him Winky. So Ryan giving a shout out to Winky for that touchdown run.
Big hole in the outside. Oh, great job. They're going to get him for a horse collar right there, 54.
That's Harris for the tackle. And it definitely looked like, as far as the way he went down. Of course, we did see that last week with bringing down Charbonneau, and actually went against us with a face mask.
Yeah. I remember that call, and I think I vividly remember our coaching staff disagreeing with the calling of that penalty. But like I said, we're sitting here 41-0, start of the third quarter. Those little bang bang 50-50s or could kind of iffy calls, you're gonna probably, if you're one of those frustrated fans, just turn your eyes away because
Sure.
you're probably gonna see a few of those this half. It's human nature, I think, out of people sometimes. They, feeling a little sorry, and that, like I said, that probably was a horse collar. It's hard to tell from the angle I'm looking at.
Right.
But,
So the Tigers will have the ball 1st and 10 on the Bulldog 46
now Fort Gibson does have a little deal where they throw it to the tackle out of the backfield, and and I'm sitting here kind of watching, and they're getting a little iffy up at the top.
Von Holt in the backfield, and that's going to be a loss back to the 49 of 3. So 2nd and 13, as we saw earlier on, when it looked like, whether it was penalties or positive yardage for the Tigers, it looked like they were getting something going. And then those next 4 downs, it's going backwards.
Yeah, and really what they've done is now that I'm getting a better view of it, they've put 51, it looks like, back in the backfield, kind of as an H-back or a fullback. And so probably just, again, it's about protecting your quarterback, you know, giving your running back a little bit more lanes to run through and adding an extra lineman in there. So looks like the carry there is again by the senior number 4, Judd Rudd. That's a great name.
Yeah, it is. He's going to get close to that original line of scrimmage after the loss on the previous play, but now it's going to be 3rd and 11 from the Bulldog 47-yard line.
51 goes out, so they go back to a little bit more of their spread personnel here. And again, you got them stacked. So again, the middle of the field, you know, is an area that you're going to try to slip somebody to, or you're going to get a quick pass. I mean, those are.
That's the underneath screen. Here's Judd Rudd.
Middle of the field, little middle screen. Yep.
He's going to pick up first down yardage into the Bulldog secondary. Ball be at the 31-yard line, and great call there by the Tiger coaching staff.
Yeah, like I said, I bet they spent a lot of time. This was an important drive for them coming out. You got a group of young kids, and you need something positive. Same formation, stacking the twins out there right now.
There's
your quick.
And the flats and Tigers able to get to about the 26-yard line. They did pick up a 5 on the play as the Tigers try to put together, sustain a drive here more than the 3 or 4 plays that they've had really up to this point.
Yes. And, you know, you're going to see, okay, they're going to go empty here, getting that. And it's not really the star now. It's a little bit of a different version, but they got quads down here, and they'll bring the tailback back. So now we're back to more of just a trips formation.
Okay. And maybe changing the play.
Yeah, just taking a little look at it.
On a 2nd and 4, here's Judd Rudd over the right side, and he'll be stopped probably right at the 25-yard line.
Yep, Shield Knight with the stop right there.
They are going to place it at the 26-yard line, so it'll be a 3rd and a long 3 as the Tigers get to the line of scrimmage.
So they're going to go back out there and stack the doubles formation again. So, you know, sometimes you get those fake the quick, and they try to send a little quick and go. I mean, you'll see some of that stuff. But, again, you look right there in the middle of the field, Jeremy. That's why people do this formation.
Gotcha.
To try to split that open a little bit.
Possibly see Rudd underneath as
same. They just flipped that play, and Kel said, I saw it once.
Yep.
I'm not going to allow it the second time.
Yeah, Rudd trying to slip underneath, and Charbonneau didn't like that he was wearing his number.
No.
So it'll be a loss back to the 30-yard line. Now it's a 4th and 8 for the Tigers.
So you bring 51 in on a 4th and long right here. They're going to try to protect right here and get something down the field. Your 7's got 2 guys on him up here, and we got really 2 on 3 down here at the bottom. So, but they're just trying to give this quarterback some time, and they're not going to allow it. That was a fantastic job. There's old McFarland.
McFarland and Shield Knight, there's just no time at all for the quarterback as he is sacked in the backfield, and the Bulldogs will force the turnover on downs. They will have it 1st and 10 on their own 39-yard line. A shout out to Melody Saunders. Appreciate the shout out, Melody. And then Amber Mathis also logging on. Leon Dotson. We appreciate everyone that's logged on tonight is still staying with us. Zyro says, hello, Bulldogs. And here's a quick hit to Shield Knight. Shield Knight with a stiff arm down the sidelines, lowers the shoulder, and number 3 might feel that one in the morning.
Yes. Yeah, that, again, same thing with Kel. It's definitely the same thing with Shield Knight. You get that kind of strength coming downhill. It's not a lot of fun to get in front of.
1st and 10 for the Bulldogs at the Tiger 45-yard line.
Going empty and just kind of moving some people around. Counter back to us.
Charbonneau upended at the 40-yard line.
Tackle by the little, what's that, number 3? I think it was number 3. Ethan Reese, senior safety. 5'10", 170 is probably a smart thing to go low.
real low. You don't want to hit him in the thighs because you're going to take the brunt end of that.
No, that's not going to feel good.
Charbonneau picks up 5 to the 40, 2nd and 5, and this will be Charbonneau again crosses the 35 and bulls his way to about the 31-yard line.
Yeah, it's never going to be a bad football play where Alex Schildknight's lead blocking for Kale running right up the middle. That's going to be a very tough play physically on the 4A teams.
Still near 300 homes watching tonight with the Bulldogs firmly in command with just under 6 minutes left in this third quarter. This is a 1st and 10 play from the Tiger 31. Charbonneau looking downfield, pressure put on, and wisely just able to throw that one out of bounds. And that's that 65 that we've been talking about, Nick.
Yep, Cooper Hackett. Yeah, he's a big old kid. 6'6", 211. That's a big sophomore.
We don't know. You and I, neither one know that size,
No.
weight, or height.
I could be on your shoulders, and we might get to 6'6", Jeremy. But we're cutting down Swanson up there. We're a good opportunity to throw a quick little out route and make that corner tackling up tight. We tried to get to it just a second ago, but the reality is that defensive end got upfield and blocked the vision. That was a great RPO right there.
Coleman on a post route gets to the 20, going to get first down yardage. Haven't quite called Coleman's name here since that couple of touchdowns or the catches that he made in the first half, and good to see him getting involved in the second half. That's Goodland in motion. He's going to take the sweep and picks up a couple of blocks downfield, and they're going to get a holding call there.
Going to get a little hold. Yep. Again, running to the other team's sidelines. That's I promise you, every Ft.Gibson coach is yelling hold right there.
It will be a holding call against the Bulldogs.
Well, the way they're playing on the outside, though, we'll come back to this matchup before probably this drive's done. We condensed down that formation, but that corner's going in there awful tight with that receiver, which is going to open up some out routes and some little easy throws to basically force that corner to have to tackle us one-on-one in space. So I'd foresee us taking advantage of that before this drive's over.
The ball sits at the Tiger 30 on a 1st and 20 now after that holding play. Charbonneau hitting the quick out to number 3, Matson Swanson. Gets a lot of that penalty yardage back inside the 20, it looks like.
It's an option that Kale's got right there where he can hand it or throw it. And again, he's seeing the same thing. He's seeing that corner with a big cushion and out there by himself. And that's not a easy matchup for that young man against Matson.
A gain of 12, 2nd and 8. Here's Tayshawn Williams.
It's a good job meeting him in the hole right there. I'm trying to see what number that was.
Is that a 7 maybe?
I got
turn this way a little bit.
eyes on him, but it's 20-something. But that was a good feel. 22. That is Vincent Biggs.
Okay.
Junior linebacker.
Able to meet Williams right at the 25, just shy of it. It'll be 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6 for the Bulldogs. This is Williams over the right side this time.
Again, 22.
Okay. 22 on the stop of Williams, and it'll be just shy of first down yardage.
Well, here comes Schildknight, Steele, and Von Holt.
Yeah.
So I'll you got one of two things right here. We're either going to run it or you're going to see one of those little like pop pass type things, where we fake it up the middle and slip somebody out. But
I know they used to call it back in the day the jumbo formation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do it a little different. They still do it out a little bit of spread formation.
Okay.
But you basically got the same combination going over here.
Here's a 4th and 2 for the Bulldogs.
Here's
and
your quarterback counter.
And he will get first down yardage inside the 5 to about the 3-yard line. And a little bit of deception there as it was overloaded on the right side. Charbonneau's goes left.
Yes. That, like I said, fans at home, you'll get used to that formation as we get closer into the playoffs. I think that'll be something we'll take advantage of throughout the year. And when you have the athletes that we do on the outside, and we're able to spread you out and hit you with passes, and then we're able to do this to you as well, it sure makes you a very efficient offense.
First and goal for the Bulldogs from the Tiger 3. This is
Goodland.
Goodland on the jet sweep, and he is, well, so Nick, I know you'll be able to clear this up for us. Sometimes I call it the jet sweep. Sometimes I call it the end around. Nevertheless, in any event, it's around the end, and Goodland walks in for the score.
Yes, yes. Definitely the term jet sweep would be probably what I would use in most of those
End around may be a little bit of an 80s term.
Listen, here's the thing. I can tell you what's hilarious is as football coaches like to reinvent things and call it their own thing.
Uh-huh.
But I promise you, there's a lot of old coaches at home going, listen, that is exactly this that we, or a version of what we ran.
Right.
Now, you do see obviously a lot more spread formations, but a lot of the RPO stuff that you're seeing is truly a version of some of the option stuff. It's you have the option to run, you have the option to pass, and you got the bubble on the outside. So it's just changing the dive back and the pitch, and
Okay.
and you're just doing it out of a different look.
Well, all along with that extra point and the Wagoner Bulldogs 48, Ft.Gibson Tigers 0. And I was just about to say for our fans at home, you've used the initials RPO there a couple of times. And for those of you who may not know, Nick just brought that up and defined that for you. It's the run pass option, RPO. And it's exactly what that means.
Yep. That's it. And like I said, it's the whole key of an offensive coach is they're trying to always get us in the best play possible, and they want the defense to never be right. If you make a great call and stop the run, we automatically will pass play to counter that.
Okay.
If you want to drop and take away the pass, we got the handoff. So I mean, again, it's a version of it's the same mental approach that coaches did for years with the option. They're just doing it, adding a pass element to it.
Belong along to kick this away. A little bit shorter than what he has been. That'll be fielded at the 20-yard line by the Tigers as he tries to pick away.
There's Mr. McFarland, and let's see, number 34?
34. That is Aaron Arnold. Arnold coming up big last week and getting some time on the offensive side of things. Ran hard in that fourth quarter, and the Pirates were having trouble bringing him down, making him play on special teams there.
Looks like we're going to give Charbonnet a little bit of a breather here. Probably a smart thing to do at this point in the game. We haven't talked a whole lot directly about him, but it's such a blessing to be able to snap the ball to a tough, competitive, hard-nosed kid that can run in there. I mean, Wagner's seen that before. It's a little different version. It's not the same, but it's a very similar version to somebody that was extremely successful for us. But I always say when you're snapping the ball to one of the toughest kids on your team every play, you got a chance to be really good because that's a demanding position, and it's a good thing to have the ball in his hand every play.
Rudd may have nightmares of number 56 on the Wagner side. That's Vaughn Holt meeting him in the backfield once again, as he has several times tonight. So between Vaughn Holt and Shield Knight, and I know we've called Harris a couple of times in that backfield, Rudd's he's and he kind of walking gingerly out there right now. Hopefully it just needs a breather, but it's been hard sledding for him tonight.
Yeah, like I said, there was a few times I bet he's wanting to tap top of his helmet and say, hey, somebody else come in here and get a little bit of this action for a little bit. The defensive line has been so much in the backfield that, the linebackers haven't had an opportunity to say their name a whole lot tonight because the ball hadn't even got to that level most of the time. But
Shield Knight right there on that tackle leading the charge there. So
it's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Good problem to have.
Chris, appreciate the shout out. Greg Brody, a classmate of mine, watching from Taylor's Ferry, America. And here's Rudd again, able to bounce it to the outside this time and was able to get to that second level.
Yep. Bryce still got out there on him, and it looks like Avon Goodland came up from the safety position. I believe he's playing safety.
Mm-hmm.
Came up and did a good job of keeping that from gaining too much. But we're back into I can't say it. I'm being sarcastic. Their favorite formation of the evening is
Well, at least
the
tonight
punt
it has
formation.
been.
It's the punt formation.
4th and 8 from the 30-yard line for the Tigers. Back deep to receive is number 2, Decaden Ford. He's a couple of good returns already this night, and he's looking to maybe go the distance. And it looks like we're going to have a timeout on the Tigers. 1:18 left. I believe the 40-second or the 25-second clock had run down. They didn't want to add another 5 yards to this would-be punt. So with 1:18 left in the third quarter, we will await the Tigers to line back up for a 4th and 8. We hope everything has gone well for you at home, as Friday Night Bulldogs is what we used to say 16 years ago, free, live, and worldwide. And we are glad to bring this to you. And we thank the Friday Night Bulldogs sponsors. And we will mention them once again, as it seems like everything's going well for everybody at home. And so we're excited about that. Here we go with a 4th and 8 as the punter stands at his 19, and Ford will stand at the Bulldog 40 to await. And he will punt it away. End over end kick. Ford
Good
is
job
there.
of coming up and getting it again. That was a great open field tackle right there.
Number 3.
Number 3, Ethan Reese, senior.
Ford able to field it cleanly, but number 3 there to make a great open field tackle.
Looks like you're going to see the starters at least finish out third quarter.
Okay.
It's not abnormal to get 3 good quarters in when you're in a blowout sometimes. And
while we're talking about that, Nick, we say this a lot when it comes to this point in the game. And some fans are, hey, why you still got the starters still in there? It's the game's out of hand, all this kind of stuff. And we try to reiterate every time that topic comes up that we're just in the 4th game of the season. These boys need to stay in shape when they do get deep into the season and they do have to go the distance.
Well, and I think, again, that is part of the design and the thought process that goes on in there. And, and no different than anybody else. If you get a full schedule in during the week, you got your JV game in on Monday. You hope you get your junior high game in on Thursday. And, every one of these kids, no matter what grade they're in, they're practicing hard throughout the week. And this is their one opportunity, and so you want to make sure everybody gets that, they get needed so they can improve, because we will play a 4-quarter game before this year's over.
Right. Here's a 3rd and 7. Charbonneau gets a man right at the sidelines, and that's Matson Swanson with a great catch, able to keep in bounds.
Yeah, that's what I said. The one thing about it is, and they tried it right up the first play of the drive, corner is one place you can't hide on defense. You're going to be out here with a guy, and you're going to have to be able to tackle him. You're going to have to be able to play him. And, that's what these spread offenses do. When they spread you out, they're making you tackle guys in open field. And when you have an advantage, sometimes it's painfully obvious for everybody in the whole stadium to see that there's a disadvantage going on. There's an advantage being taken out of right there.
That was Ford on that last carry. And
got one down right here.
Oh,
Looks like a cramp.
Okay.
Speaking of conditioning.
Yep. So, Chris, I see your comment and wanting to see the granddaughter Lenny down on the sidelines. So, Garrett will try to get a good shot of the cheerleaders down there, although they have their backs to us right now. So, maybe when they turn around, we'll get a good shot. His granddaughter Lenny, part of the cheerleading squad, and his daughter Angie, part of the coaching squad of the cheerleaders.
Yes. Angie's a classmate of mine.
Okay.
From 98.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Does a great job with the cheerleaders. Does a really good job. Yeah, it looks like we're going into well, I'm seeing 4 quarters go up, but as the quarter ended there, it must have been.
We get caught up on our comments from our Facebook page. I had one I wanted to want to mention all of them, but Let's see. Shirley Harkins, I believe it's Kale's great aunt, is watching from Knoxville, Tennessee. She's been
Okay.
with us all season. Brian Peck, we've mentioned him. How about Pete Wyatt watching, listening from New Market, Tennessee? And apparently a lot of devastating flooding going on. These are uh, Kale's family, Kale Charbonnet's family. Um, Janet Watkins says she's watching it with her 97-year-old mom, Maxine
Oh,
Jennings.
that's neat.
So
Neat
Pete,
way to spend an evening.
Pete Wyatt, Benny and Bonnie Cox, and
Well, that's a great play right there by number one, Stalin McKinnon.
okay,
Yep,
McHenry
he's
to
in quarterback for Kale and
that
bought a little extra
Goodland.
time and looked like he
Goodland.
hit Avon.
So Miss Janet, I want to say hello to your mom, Maxine Jennings, 97. And that is pretty close, although it's not quite the record. I believe the youngest Bulldog fan, McHenry, finding Goodland again. Goodland,
Oh, ran through.
yeah, Goodland running like I think they got him listed at 155. He's running like he's 255.
Yeah. We're going to give him the benefit of saying he broke those tackles. I think those two kids about hit helmet to helmet
Yeah.
on each other, but hey, it's a good hard run.
So I believe the youngest Bulldog fan ever to watch Bulldog football online was here's McHenry flushed out and he'll step out of bounds. It was actually my daughter, Anna, who is a senior at the University of Central Oklahoma, oddly enough, is going to become a middle school math teacher.
Yes.
And she was about 6 months old when she was listening to Friday Night Bulldogs.
Okay.
And I believe the oldest Bulldog fan was Miss Betty Moore, which is Rick Moore's mom.
Yes. Yes.
She was on as McHenry, I believe.
Looks like we got a first and goal.
Yep.
Gained a couple there.
Miss Betty was a cheerleader on that 1945 state championship team.
Okay. Okay.
The one that we never got to play because I believe most of the players had the
Yep. Yep. The flu game. I think it was Woodward.
okay.
Was
All
who
right.
we were playing, I
All right.
believe. The only reason I remember that is when we went out and played them. I think I heard some reminiscing of that.
Okay.
Some people telling some stories of that.
And I think the Boomers, the Woodward Boomers, ended up quote unquote winning by a coin flip, is what I've heard.
Yeah, they claim it.
Okay.
Yeah, they claim it. And like I said, I think when we went out there, and now I'm going all the way back to 11.
Okay.
When we won it in 11, we had to go out there in the
Yes,
second round playoff game because we didn't win our district
sure
that year.
did.
And
McHenry able to finish that off.
Tackles.
Styling McHenry with the touchdown run. But I remember that game well, as that was the I believe that was the third season for Friday Night Bulldogs. The first season was when not McGinnis, but we played them back to back. We met them in the state championship, Oklahoma City.
Douglas.
Douglas.
Yep.
They actually came to Wagoner.
Yep.
And that was our first. They beat us in the second round, I believe.
Yep.
And
at home, it was about a 7-0 game.
Yep.
I think it was. I think Prince McJunkins.
Yep.
Was our quarterback for that group, and he was a junior that year.
So that was, I believe, the third season for the Bulldogs. We made the trek all the way out to Woodward, Oklahoma, and that night we got near 500 different homes.
Oh.
And at that point was the record for Friday Night Bulldogs, and we've since went over that mark these last few years, especially during the state championship years. So the triple threat.
I can tell you, I was defensive coordinator in that year when we went out there, and that was by far one of the windiest games that I've ever been a part of. But as a defensive guy, I loved it.
Right.
There was not a ball being thrown that night. Like, you couldn't throw it into the wind, and if you threw it with the wind, you'd throw it 75 yards past your guy. So, that was It was a unique bus trip.
So Russ Jones, Russ Jones says his cousin Floyd Jones was a part of that team and says coin flips don't count.
Yeah. Number 11 there, Seth Renner, new kicker.
Okay.
I believe that's the first time I've seen him kick tonight.
Yeah. So
good kick right there.
Russ Jones, I believe about an 89 Wagoner grad. Appreciate him long and one, been with us. And was able to chime in at that 45 team. I know you weren't alive, but the Jones family, part of the Wagoner tradition for a very long time, and Floyd, part of that 45 championship team. Matter of fact, I think one of the footballs from that is still in the trophy case there in Wagoner High School.
It is. I've seen it.
1945. So we are into the fourth quarter. 8 minutes and 40 seconds.
Jump right there by the right tackle.
Right.
And that's Cooper Hackett.
Okay.
The big sophomore.
Yep.
And when you're 6'6" and you jump,
not going to be able to hide that.
Nope, you can't hide that.
8:42 left in this ball game. Wagoner Bulldogs 54. The Ft.Gibson Tigers 0.
Looks like Bryce Steele's making his way off the field.
On a 2nd and 7 play, and this is number 9 for the Tigers. Still on his feet, and he crosses the 40. Okay.
Sophomore running back.
Good carry for Skaggs to the 43-yard line. And he's going to pick up first down yardage for the Tigers. First and 10 Tigers from their own 43-yard line.
And you see they're still keeping the majority of players. You know, that was a different ball carrier there, but they got the majority of their O-line in there and young playmakers still. I'm sure there's a little bit of them wanting to go make a play or two and go get some points on the board. Like I said, when you're a young team like that, you're trying to just get any momentum going into next week. You already know that this has been a little bit of a reality check of how far you are from competing at that level. But you want those kids. I know Coach Nolan's probably trying to find a little bit of success here late in the game, something he can build off of.
Yeah.
Here's a quick throw out to number 2. Again, great
move.
Playmaker.
He's down the sidelines and finally shoved down of clowns by McHenry. Did I see a flag come in? Maybe not.
I
guess I didn't
see one.
Okay.
That was Cash Keys, sophomore receiver again.
Okay.
In kind of preparation, he's made some big plays already for this season for him.
Yep.
So, you're going to see some young playmakers over the next few minutes before Gibson makes some plays. And this is good for our young defenders that are out there as well.
Absolutely.
They're going against varsity players right now.
Yep. That previous play, I want to point out, Garen Arnold. This is number 2. Again, that's Booby Miles, Javon Smith making that tackle. But before that, a little pitch and catch there for the Tigers. The play before, it was Garen Arnold, who we just now mentioned. He was the one making the play in the backfield for a loss.
Yep.
Bulldogs going to take a timeout here with 6:37 left in the contest. And again, Nick, you had mentioned we're probably going to see Ft.Gibson getting into the playoffs, and we may be seeing this team again if they're able to advance.
Well, when you're a young team, their goal is probably to get in, get that group of sophomores a little bit of taste of what that looks like, and then go from there. That's how you start building something, and I know that's what their plan is with this young team. And I know that speech that our defense just got right there is a very motivating speech from Coach Condit, because when you work all night long to keep a shutout, because as an old defensive coach, I've coached defense and offense, but defensive guys don't like points being scored on them if there's 1 second on the clock, and that doesn't matter. And so I promise you there was a little bit of motivation attached to that conversation out there.
The 7 Anomaly series chiming in. That's Robbie Robertson.
Okay.
And he's saying just that. He says, "Come on, dogs," he says, "Goose egg them." So Robbie, a recent author of a series, and we're proud of the Wagoner Bulldog class of '93 that Robbie's a part of.
It's a good tackle there again by 34. I think you said his name.
Garen Arnold.
Yep. Said his name a few times right there. 3rd and short right here. Probably going to get a very similar play call. There it is. Same thing.
Is that 2 again? Or maybe that might be 3.
That's 14 for us coming.
14. Noah Cantrell.
Yep.
Number
Senior
3.
getting in right there at safety. And
Yep. No, it's number 9. 9 was the carrier for the Tigers.
Skags. Yep.
Okay. So Michelle Appleton, I see your comment, said that Gatlin watched his first Friday Night Bulldog game at 7 months old, and he watched his first NFL game at 6 hours old.
Oh, okay.
Michelle Cannon Appleton.
There's a touchdown.
And there is a touchdown for the Tigers. And they are just as excited as if this was the beginning of the game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you put those lights in the stadium, you got to use them.
Yeah, that's for sure. That is for sure.
Kai Murrell, right there, another sophomore wide receiver.
Okay.
And so
here's the first time we've called this young man's name for the extra point, and it is true. Is that number 12?
18,
18,
I believe.
okay.
Paxton Philman.
Okay.
Freshman.
All
kicker.
right. Had plenty of leg in that, and obviously had the accuracy. So the Tigers are on the board, 54-7 down to the Bulldogs. I do want to give a shout out, and I think she may still be watching, but Beverly Cannon, she is an original member of the FNB Nation way back in 2009 when we started this. Back in the chat room, her handle, if you want to call it that, her screen name was Bambi BC. And she messaged me, said that she's watching tonight. Beverly and Johnny Cannon, you remember that name. And she is watching Bulldog football tonight. So, Miss Beverly, hopefully you're doing well, and it is good to hear from you. So the Tigers will kick it away only the second time tonight. First time was in the second half to start out the second half. Wanted to sneak a onside kick, and then that's when Javon Smith returned it for about 45 yards for the first score of the second half.
Little high pooch.
And
that's Elijah.
Yeah, it is. Elijah Love trying to make the corner and does. And Elijah with a good return across the 45 to the 46-yard line.
It's kind of when you can tell, when I say we have so much depth on the outside, he's a name you don't even hear during varsity time all that much. But Elijah's going to be a good young football player for Wagoner as the years move forward. He's a very mature, physical young man for that age, and he's just getting accustomed to football a little bit, getting his legs under him a little bit. 1st and
10 for the Bulldogs as McHenry steps in as quarterback again in this series, as he was last series. That's a carry made by number 29. All right, Blake, getting some carries last week as well into the fourth quarter. And here's another name that you'll recognize, Nick. I'm not sure if it's either senior or junior, but KJ Lee chiming in our chat room.
All right, KJ.
Yep. So
one of my favorites. He was great player for us. So, and great kid.
Apparently, we've had.
There I go calling people kids again, Jeremy. Yeah. I got to quit doing that.
That's 22 on the carry. Zion Corey joined the Bulldogs last year. He is a sophomore tailback now, and very instrumental on the Wagoner High School soccer team as well.
Okay.
So Heather C, she said her two youngest were about 4 to 6 hours old watching Friday Night Bulldogs. So we've got at birth, and I believe Miss Betty was 98 at the time. So, and then of course all the ages in between. So
you got 4th and short right here. See what we elect to do.
4th and 3 from the Tiger 47-yard line. And I have a feeling we're going to see McHenry put that 6'5" frame ahead.
towards our sidelines, Jeremy? Is that what we're calling?
That's what I'm calling. There we go. McHenry. Oh, he slipped down. And even slipping down, he probably came pretty close to making the first down with that 6'5", that 6'5" frame of his. But that's exactly what was going on. But he slipped short, and so the Tigers will take over on downs, 1st and 10 on their own 47, with 3:38 left in the ball game.
Looks like we got some more new faces out there on defense. Ft.Gibson again. No frustration, keeping some of those young playmakers out there. They're just building some confidence.
And number 3 on the carry. Hey, another part of this, Nick, is when you are on the losing end of a contest, you want to see what kind of character your kids have. And we talked a little bit about that already, but just trying to put trying to put some positive things ahead. But you're also looking for, you're looking for the fight, who's going to still play hard, but you're also wanting to test the character of your team, of a night that really hasn't gone well all night long, and just seeing how they're going to respond in that aspect.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. Each team's trying to accomplish different things in this season. Their goals are different. And so they're trying to gain some experience with these young players. And so every varsity snap is important to them. So they're trying to take full advantage of that right now. But, the one thing you want to make sure of right here is that you get out of it healthy. And that's for both teams' purposes. Oh, Elijah leaving his feet.
Ball downfield to number 1, who made the catch. Good catch in a little bit of traffic. That's Jesus Monsivius.
I'm glad you went for that one.
Well,
I wasn't going to try that one.
I apologize to the Monsivius family, but he made a great catch there. Had to go low to get it, and is able to set up the Tigers 1st and 10 on the Bulldog 25-yard line.
Well, and as I explained earlier, a young player like Elijah right there is coming off the edge unblocked, leaves his feet, and, he'll learn later on. He'll just run through that.
So with 1:30 left in the ball game, the Tigers will have the ball 3rd and 8 from the 23.
Number 9.
Running hard and gets first down yardage.
Skaggs, he's a hard runner. Yeah.
Thomas Compton watching from Muskogee tonight. Adam McAdoo. And here is the Tigers, number 9, making a touchdown. Skaggs again. And the Tigers able to extend to number 13. Was it number 18, the extra point that we may see here?
Yep, I believe it was the freshman, Philman. I believe his name, Paxton Philman. Yep, freshman. You think there's any chance he plays soccer for Ft.Gibson?
I have a feeling he probably does, especially, that thing is up and true. Exactly what you need to have your extra point man do. You don't want it low coming in as a line drive, especially when you got the likes of McHenry and Von Holt and Shield Knight, 6'3", 6'4", 6'5". You got to get those things up high.
Yes. Well, this is how second halves of games go when they're blowouts. And, as there's you got one team leaving starters out, getting a few points, and again, building the confidence. But it changes the fact that throughout this evening, this was a very impressive evening for our Bulldogs. They played extremely well, came out prepared, came out focused, did what they were supposed to do through the first 3 quarters, and really dominated the game. And plenty of things to build off of. Looks like we're going to be healthy getting out. I don't see anybody not looking that way. So that's the key to our season, is to stay healthy.
So we are 60 seconds away from this ball game being completed as the Tigers will kick it away. Short pooch kick, and this will be Love again. Decides he's going to try the opposite side, still on his feet, makes a couple of spin moves, and they're having a hard time bringing him down. Elijah Love, he got hit probably 8 yards back, and he was able to push forward with the help of a few of his Bulldog friends.
Yes, yes. Well, like I said, he's just a young pup learning this game, and he's trapped in a full-grown man's body. That's for damn
Right,
sure.
right.
He is all there. And, as he kind of figures himself out, he's an exciting sophomore for us in the future as well. Along with a lot of other.
1st and 10 for the Bulldogs on the 46. Here's McHenry. McHenry looking downfield, and that is incomplete. I think that was Love, and I think he was surprised it was coming to him.
Well, the corner undercuts it right there, and I think he almost blocked the vision of Elijah, and it just about hit Elijah right in the face. But McHenry, I've been impressed with the times he's gotten in. He appears to be a really good athlete. He's moving around well. He's got a good live arm.
2nd and 10 for the Bulldogs. McHenry dropping back to pass and finds a man in the flat. That's 29, Blake Smith, but he can't haul it in. And Nick, some may wonder, okay, it's 54-14. Why are we still throwing the ball? But again, we've talked about this of looking forward, and we know that Charbonneau is graduating this year. So yes, it's about the here and now, but you also got to make plans for the future.
Yes, yes. I mean, and we do throw the ball on offense a little bit more than we have in the past, and so those kids got to get those reps as well. And it looks like both teams pretty much agreed the clock was running the whole time, so
Yeah.
I think that played probably a factor in the play call as well.
For sure.
If both teams have agreed we're going to run the clock in the fourth quarter, that pretty much makes it easy to just call your offense however you want to call it. But again, fantastic job by the Bulldogs, coaching staff, players, everybody. They did a fantastic job. Cheerleaders did a great job down here supporting the Bulldogs all night long. And a band, shout out to them. Good luck in their competition tomorrow at Oologah. I know that's an exciting. The Stallion Battalion.
So that is going to do it for us here in Ft.Gibson, Oklahoma. Wagoner Bulldogs were in control really from the starting or the opening drive. They'll go away to back to Wagoner. 54-14 is the final score. And Nick, next week is homecoming. So a lot of festivities, a lot of excitement I believe we play the Miami War Dogs coming to town. And so a lot of things that we're going to start right at Tuesday. When we get back to school on Tuesday, the homecoming, it's going to go on all week long.
Yes, yes. I think the kids enjoy every dress up day that comes with it, all the things that come with it. The adults, I think, tolerate.
That's a good way of putting it.
But it's fun. I mean, as I said, the kids enjoy it. It'll be a great week. It'll be a great opponent. Miami's, there'll be a playoff team in our district, or they're definitely fighting for one. So, the reality is that'll be a good opponent. For us to get prepared for. But again, everything with us is our focus, staying sharp, kind of like what we did tonight. For the first 3 quarters, you like to look sharp and be on point. And I thought they did a great job of that. And next week will be a really fun week.
We will bring homecoming festivities to you on next week's web or live stream. I believe it's going to be starting at 6:30. So we'll bring you the coronation and of course, the football action at 7 o'clock, still a kickoff time. So I think that's going to do it for us. Don't forget, I believe Wednesday we'll be live streaming the softball regionals if it comes out that Wagoner plays on Wednesday. So be looking for that in our Facebook page or even on the Wagoner PS website. And we'll keep you updated there, and we'll bring you that action. If you can, obviously, you want to come out and support the girls, as they are something to watch for sure. I believe sitting with a 21-4 record for the season heading into the regionals.
Yeah, like I said, if you haven't had an opportunity to come out and watch them play, I highly recommend it.
Absolutely.
Great group of kids. They play hard, and they're very talented.
Yep.
Extremely talented.
So that's going to do it for us here. For Garrett Haddock, Nick Humphreys, I'm Jeremy Horn saying good night and God bless America.